Hey ladies, welcome back to the show. I'm your host, Trisha Stefankowitz, registered dietitian, nutritionist. So, on our episode today, I wanted to talk about this idea of making an investment when it comes to our health, wellness, and self care goals. And just really talking about this idea of you're going to have to give something up, or there's going to be some kind of investment into becoming the person that you wish to become. The investments that we're going to talk about in this episode are investments in your time. Perhaps it's money, education, or a loss that you may be taking in order to achieve your goal. Before we start the episode, I have a huge favor to ask you. In the past, I've done this podcast 2 times a week, but I stopped doing that because it was just so hard. As I work full time, I take care of my son, and I also then do this on the side. And so I would love to continue and to do more podcasts, but I would need to have some more downloads in order for that to happen and for the podcast and all of that to expand. So, in an effort to promote community growth and in an effort to increase any chances of podcast expansion and subsequent opportunities that come with that, downloads are something that are pretty important in the podcast industry. Currently, I have reached about 19,000 downloads, but I have a goal that I want to achieve 30,000 downloads in the next 6 months. Because, like you, I like to set goals too, and that one feels a little bit really big. So, I need your help in order to do it. So, I'm hoping that you are able to help me out. If you found value in any of these podcasts or any of the past episodes, please download any of the episodes, and that will help me and this community increase expansion and growth. And I would be so appreciative. So, what I'm asking you for help is if you wish to do that, which I would be greatly appreciative of, is to download any of the episodes so that I can reach the download goal of 30,000 in 6 months. So I'll give you an update monthly so that you can continue to help support the growth of this community. And I want to thank you in advance for listening and for downloading. I very much appreciate it. All right, so now on to the episode. And so we are talking about investing and investing in who you want to become. When we talk about an investment, it's basically contributing to who you wish to become. So you're sacrificing something, you're giving something in order to be the person that you want to be, in order to achieve what you want to achieve. And so I'm going to kind of give you a little bit of an idea of what I'm thinking about and kind of a little bit of a story that will help you understand. So I want to give you an example is in my own life, which I know this is going to resonate with some of you. I felt like I wanted to have a house cleaner and somebody to just kind of help me out, come in and clean my house like every other week. Since I had my son, I was taking care, since I have a son, I spend so much time taking care of him. I work a full-time job, and I also um, do this podcast on the side. So it's a lot of time during the week that I'm spending taking me towards my goals, right? And so what I realized is that I needed to free some time for myself, because what ended up happening is that I was spending so much time then on the weekends cleaning all the time, cleaning up every night after dinner, cleaning up every morning, all the toys that are all over the place on the floor. And so in the weekends, I would end up spending time, cleaning toilets, doing all the things that I needed to do in order to run the household. And so finally, I had this epiphany that it just wasn't worth it for me anymore to give so much up with so little in return. And I knew that it was costing me something. So although I was saving money, it was still costing me time, a time away from my son, time away from doing something that I really wanted to be doing, not cleaning. And so I really started to think about, I think a lot of women have this weird thing about money. It's how we're raised. I certainly do. that it's almost like, oh gosh, I'm not worthy of spending money on myself. So I really had to like kind of go in and question that, like, to have a house cleaner, 150 bucks a month, can I afford it? And immediately I think, oh, I can't afford it. That's not even something that's in the realm of possibility. But then as I start to think about it and I start to be like, okay, I don't really want to do the cleaning anymore, or to the degree that I'm doing it, I start looking through my bank account and I'm like, okay, it's only $150, which it's a lot. But certainly I probably spend that at Amazon a month, and it's probably on shit that I don't even really need. And so I started thinking, like, okay, maybe I can whittle something down to get to where I want to be. And so I did. I ended up hiring somebody that could help me, because I realized that I couldn't quite get ahead if I had to keep working as hard as I was. And so that's what was essentially happening, is that I was basically like working, 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 and then cleaning, cleaning, cleaning on the weekends, and then going back into the grind during the week. And so, in order to move ahead with anything or to free myself of time, I needed to hire somebody to help me so that I could move forward, so that on the weekend I could do other things that were either going to get me to my goal of growing my podcast, or to just have time for myself when it came to my health. So I hired somebody, and honestly, like, I don't miss that $150 per month, because when I come home and my house is completely clean and it smells great and the toilets are done and the shower is clean, I'm so grateful that I was able to find $150 from somewhere to be able to do it. And so for me, in this instance, I chose money. I chose the money so that I could free myself of some time. So perhaps you're someone that's like that, like me, where you are in this place that you are sacrificing so much of your time doing something that you don't particularly like. For the average woman, most of us spend our time doing things like this: working, cleaning, shopping, doing laundry, doing bills, getting ready for everyone, getting ready for yourself, getting everyone else ready, making meals daily, cleaning up, kids' lunches, your lunches, homework, taking care of family members, taking care of aging parents, keeping the overall household organized and so that nobody's killing each other. And what if you're somebody who works 2 and 3 jobs, or maybe you're going to school full time? How the heck are you supposed to be able to do all of the things, that are good for you, essentially, that you want to do? And so it's no wonder that our health ends up taking a backseat, because there's a million things that we have to do every day to kind of stay on track, let alone get ahead in what we want to achieve. So, this is where this idea of investing is important. Investing in yourself is a way to secure and step into the person that you want to become. When we talk about investing, I think what comes to mind is typically any idea surrounding money. But we can also do things investing, could also be investing your time into something. So, for instance, when I'm cleaning the bathroom, well, and I'm, spending the weekend cleaning my house, well, because I wanted to save money, then it then became an investment in my time. And so that's one way that you can do it. And you might be in a place that you don't have the financial resources, so time is something that is a bigger investment and something that's more cost effective at this time. But in addition to time and money, there's also an investment into education, so that that can get you to a place that perhaps you can make more money, or you just become overall more knowledgeable, so that in the long run you don't spend as much time doing something that maybe before would have taken you a longer time to do, because you've gained some skills and some growth in that area. But also, there's this idea of investment as a loss. And this is a book that Dr. Benjamin Hardy wrote. And I think it's like called something about your future self. And I'll leave that in the show notes. But basically, it's this idea that all of the things that you've done in the past and that you've failed at actually can be perceived as an investment, because now that you've kind of made those mistakes, it helps you invest into the future you that you want to be. So it helps you, hopefully, from repeating all the things and spending that time in the future repeating those same failures, because you've already done it. And so let's kind of talk about when it comes to health, wellness, and self care, really trying to figure out what an investment would do for you. Well, investing in whichever category, time, money, education, or loss, is something that helps provide forward movement with whatever goal that you wish to achieve. It helps provide momentum and growth, and it takes you closer to what it is that you want to achieve. It's so hard to get better at something and to prioritize and stay on track of our goals when you're doing the same thing over and over again and you can't quite get out of that rut. So, for the house cleaning example, if I never hired anybody, I would still be to this day working like a dog during the week and then coming home and doing all the things that I need to do on the weekend. And eventually, I wouldn't be able to keep up with that pace. I just wouldn't. And so I would find myself in the same position over and over and over again. And by making that decision to spend the money, to do something, and to sacrifice maybe a purchase somewhere that month because of the cost of the cleaner, it's worth it to me because then it allows me to get ahead and I kind of get myself out of that rat race because now that I have somebody helping me, I can stay a little bit more organized each day and I can put that time into the weekend that I would have spent cleaning into doing something that's going to propel me forward. So now I can spend more time meal prepping, or I can spend time going for a walk, or I can spend time meditating, anything that's going to help me achieve the goals that I really want to achieve. And so, my question to you is, what kind of investment are you willing to make at this point in time when it comes to the goal that you wish to achieve? So, when we talk about investing, there's a benefit here in this idea that you learn something from investing. You learn new skills, you have some kind of growth, and it's going to help you get to succeed in your goals maybe even faster than you would if you didn't have that investment. And so, some of the things one of the things that I hear a lot of people talk about on here is basically weight loss. That's like the number one thing I hear people talking about. And so, if that is something that is your goal, thinking about what it is in terms of investment for you to get to that goal. So, I think one of the most important things to do for weight loss is writing down what you eat and meal planning. So the investment is that on the weekends, you're going to have to spend more time writing down what your plan is for the week and meal planning. So meal planning on a Sunday takes a couple hours out of your Sunday to do it. However, in the long run, if you're able to do it, it saves you time and money during the week because you already have the meals planned out. So you don't get into a place that you're coming home from work and having to cook, or if you're so tired, then you're eating out, costing you money. And so this is what I mean. It's like you're paying for it somewhere. It's just trying to figure out how to optimize it to your life so that you can maximize the time that you have to yourself. So when we talk about time, it's basically like the time that you're spending working out or meal prepping or planning your week ahead of time or writing down what you eat or journaling. It could also be having to set boundaries in terms of your time and not doing things. And this will probably feel like a sacrifice. Maybe not doing stuff and feeling like you have to be the mom that brings in all this stuff at school and saying no to some things so that you can free yourself and have some more time. It's about setting boundaries, setting goals. That's what I'm talking about when we talk about this investment in time. Now, money could be anything that you're going to go and spend money on. It could be investing in a gym, doing some kind of meal delivery service so that you don't have to cook your meals every night. It could be coaching, any coaching that you do. It could be therapy, which, oh my gosh, I feel like that is worth all the money in the world if you're able to even go just once a month in terms of cost, because that peace of mind that you gain from it, I feel like it's priceless. Any paid apps or equipment, any grocery delivery. So this is a big one. I feel like people don't have time to go grocery shopping on the weekends. And so what I would say is that if you're able to do a meal delivery service, so say you're able to go to Instacart and have Acme deliver something to you, Sure, that might seem like a lot of work at the beginning because you have to create your list and, spend the time on like a Sunday doing that or a Saturday. But in the long run, once you already have that list established, it saves you a lot of time because you can just go in and be like, plop, 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 and add all the things that you previously bought. And then that hour that you would have spent food shopping, you can do something else. You can maybe go for a walk and just kind of enjoy your life and work towards the goals that you have. Maybe it's like me getting a house cleaner or having somebody babysit your kiddos or take care of your parents because, maybe that investment is worth it because it frees you and gives you some mental space and mental clarity. When we talk about money, I want you to think of some things in your own life that you can do that's either going to that you can pay for that's going to help improve your physical health or your mental and emotional health. And I know with women, we have this weird thing about money, almost like this idea of like it's not worth it. And gosh, I don't want to spend that money on myself. I'd rather spend it on my kids or blah, blah, blah. And, I myself have that and I'm always trying to do stuff with money mindset, but I do challenge you on this because you're paying somewhere. So you're either paying for it in terms of your health because you're not taking the time to work on your health now, that you will pay for it in the future. Um, you will. If you're not taking care of your health, you will have more diseases, or you may have to pay money for something in the future to get you there. Or I don't know. I just think like you pay for it one way or the other. You either pay now or you pay later. And I'm thinking of like somebody who like wants to like I feel like there's all these like boutique gyms out there and a lot of women will be like, "No, I can't afford that." But if that's the thing that gets you out of your house and gets you to do the thing that's going to help with your health, wellness and self-care goals, give you mental clarity, help you stay on track with whatever it is you want to achieve, then if you can pull it off, why not? Because that's what's the alternative to that? The alternative is getting some kind of like home gym. Now, if you're somebody who lives in a household where you have somebody interrupting you all of the time, or if you're somebody who gets distracted because you're at home and you can't get away from all the hecticness and the clutter that's in your house, it's not worth it to pay less to not be able to do it. So I would then challenge you to pay what it is that you feel like you need to do to get you to the goal that you desire. And again, I'm not talking about anything extravagant. I'm just talking about we all prioritize our needs differently. And for somebody who spends $150 in a gym, maybe that's worth it to them. I'd rather spend the $150 in getting my house clean. But we all have different things that work for our life. So it's not judging it, it's just trying to figure out what it is that keeps you where you want to be. And by the way, to not judge yourself for it, to know that, like, okay, I need this because it gets me out of the house. And that's my big dilemma is I just have to get out of the house because this is the only way that it works. When it comes to education, we're talking about investing. This could be time or money, but the growth of you, but you learn a lot along the way, and you have growth by that increased knowledge. So that could be reading or immersing yourselves in podcasts. Hint, hint. Immersing yourself into education or courses or workshops or conferences or webinars or videos. That could also be an investment of time and money too, but you get the education piece so that hopefully you spend the time here now and then in the future it saves you time later, because you have this knowledge that you're gaining. And then loss would be things that you've done in the past, like failures that you've had that can be perceived as an investment because the thought is that you failed at it once and that you're not going to have to go through that again because you've done it, and that it's going to help you make decisions because of what you lost and the decisions that you made at that time, so that in the future, it just lends this idea into your growth because you're not going to repeat those same things and not learn from it. So that will save you time, money, and also more failures. So I want to ask you some questions now that we're kind of talking about it. What is it that you want to achieve? So, like, what is your goal in terms of your health at this point in time? And I want you to kind of figure out what it is that you can invest in order to move you towards this goal. Is it something that you're going to have to spend a little bit more time on? So if you're watching Netflix, I think Virgin River is coming out soon, which is something that I know that I want to spend some time watching, right? So I have to give something up in order to do that. You can't have everything, right? And so this is what I want you to know. Like, if you really want to achieve these goals, then you have to either, you know, find a way another hour instead of watching Virgin River to be able to do that. You're sacrificing one thing for something else. And so, what is it for you? Is it going to be that you're going to be sacrificing time? Are you going to sacrifice money? Are you going to sacrifice education? Or are you going to just kind of live in this place that you're continuing to have a loss? And hopefully that will help you invest into your future, but you're just not in a place that you can do any of those things right now. And so this is just kind of, trying to figure out and how to investing into these small things today that will help you to get to a place that you are achieving your desired goal in the future. And it's okay to not know where you want to start right now, but I just wanted to have you start thinking about it because this is some of the whole like mindset work that I just wanted to kind of go through with you is like that there is going to be a sacrifice somewhere and it's just trying to figure out where it is for you. And so for me, I can watch Virgin River because I have a house cleaner. So that time that I would have been, oh my gosh, I have to, I can't watch anything because of this or that, because I don't have time, I have to clean the house. Now I can do that. So think about what you can do today that can save you time in the future. And let me know if you have any ideas too. I'm always open to hear that. You can email me at info@trisha.rd, or you can even post in my Instagram at Whole Health and Power. I remind you that, whatever it is that you can do today, any step forward or any investment that you can make today into your future will be worth it. It's just deciding that you're worthy enough and taking some kind of step, as imperfect as it's going to be, and it will be imperfect, just to motivate you to just get started or just to start thinking about it. Because that's where, just kind of getting to a place that you can start thinking that you're worthy of it, that you're enough, and that you can have this. You can have what it is that you want. There just might be some sacrifice, some short term sacrifice along the way that you may have to make. And the sacrifice may be time, maybe money, maybe failure that you've already done, maybe education. So I hope you guys have a great week. I thank you so much for listening, and I will see you back here next week.